Hey y'all, it's me again. Try number 3, believe it or not. Okay, in no particular order, it seems like I was more organized last time, but in no particular order, we're going to start off. Now this is everything I'm going to show you. This is after you have your food source, your water source, a roof over your head, a heat source, basically those bugging in. Or if you have a bug out location, you can go ahead and have these things like I do here. So don't misunderstand that this is before any kind of food source, any kind of water source, any type of way to heat yourself a roof over your head. Whoops, things are sliding here. And I'm going to be out of screen a little bit picking up things. So I apologize, but I need a helper and don't have a helper. Okay, we're going to get the bathroom out of the way. I thought I'd do the bathroom too. Yes, you can dig a hole. You can go over a log. There's all kinds of ways outside because your sewage system isn't going to work in a true grid down situation. So, buckets. We always need buckets. You can use buckets to store your food and bury it. You can use buckets to carry wood in. There's a million uses for buckets, but the most important use for a bucket in a grid down situation is to make yourself a potty. Okay, so it's just a regular 5-gallon bucket, and these were about $10 or $12 on Amazon. I think sometimes you can get them at Cabela's or the hunting fishing stores. But it snaps down on the lid, on the bucket, and then the lid also snaps closed too. So you want to take care of your bathroom situation. Your shower, make sure you have either tarps and rope. Those are very, very important. Any kind of tarp. Good thick sturdy rope. Okay, you need a sturdy rope. If it's raining, I suggest they were $12, $13, $14 on Amazon. A Frog Tog rain suit comes with the pants and a zip up jacket. Let me tell you, on a spring rainy day, fall rainy day, these will even keep you warm. You know, let me tell you, they'll keep you too warm in the summer. Also, hang on a second. Here's where I need my assistant. Always make sure you have extra empty totes and lids. You never know what you might need them for. You can also bury your food. Tape them up. Okay? Next on the list, I have a washer spinner, and I will link that. There's no sense in redoing a job that somebody's done an excellent job at. And it's Simple Living Alaska channel. I will link the video. That's where I got the idea to get the washer spinner. If you don't have a washer spinner, then you want one size. I love galvanized and stainless steel. One galvanized bucket to put a washboard in. And yes, I've got 2 washboards, but they're in the loft at the other cabin. I couldn't reach them. So you want one to wash, and then a larger size to rinse. Okay, a size, one this size, you can also put in water, dunk your head down in it, and you can use it to wash and rinse your hair. If you don't have the 5-gallon bladder to go into a camping shower tent type situation. So you can carry wood in these. I showed y'all in one of my videos, I have a little cart on wheels and a handle. That's how I bring my wood in. This is going to fall, so I'm going to set it over. Hang on. So you've got your bathroom, you got a way to shower, you got a way to sponge bath. The galvanized buckets will heat up on a fire to warm your water and then add cold water to it. Okay, cooking on a fire. Let's go. most people have little camp sets. See, this has been on the fire. Y'all seen me cooking this on a video, cooking on a wood fire. This is aluminum. And yes, like to heat up hot dog chili or boil a little water for some noodles. This will last, but trust me, if you get this bottom too hot, it will stick to the grate. If you put it on a grate, it'll burn completely out. So for long term, you never want to use aluminum, okay? I'm a firm believer in stainless steel. Okay, here's an old, I found this at a secondhand store, a real old pot. I got it just to have an extra pot. But you have to watch these. Keep them over to the side of your fire. Don't let them get too hot. You will burn the bottom out. If you want something more sturdy, stainless steel. And look how thick the bottom is on this stainless steel. And yes, it's used. So get the stainless steel. It will match much longer. This is a set I happen to have for your pastas. You need to strain them or boil your potatoes or boil your vegetables or steam, you know. So make sure you have stainless steel. I love stainless steel. I use stainless steel at home. I use stainless steel here. Sorry. Okay. What else do I have in the way of stainless steel? If you're going to be cooking on a fire, I'm going to go through this little bowl. And yes, I've got things falling. If you're going to cook on a fire, have a long-handled spoon because you don't want to be using this size spoon that you would use in the kitchen, standing over a fire or moving your stuff off of the fire. Just get you a long-handled spoon. They're not expensive. They sell them at Sam's and, you know, those type of big box stores. They have restaurant equipment you can get. As a matter of fact, that's probably where I got these. But you need a long-handled spoon. See the difference in the size of that spoon if you're going to be working over a fire? Okay. Bowls. You need bowls. Every size stainless steel bowl. You never know how big your group's going to get, okay? Yes, you can have your little bowls, but you want big bowls. I have one that's much, much bigger than this. Okay. Going on to bowls. I also have a nesting set of bowls with lids. Stainless steel, okay? Your stainless steel will last you forever. Okay, the real magic of cooking on a wood-burning stove, or I mean, outside wood fire or wood-burning stove, it works for both, is, like I said, you never know how big your group's going to get. Have different size skillets. That is my biggest one, and I've got them that they go down in size. Make sure that you have, hang on a second, y'all, lids for your stainless, for your cast iron, because that will help you cook a little faster with a lid on it. I have a round granite ware. I can't find it. Okay, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. There's 1,000 videos on how to season your cast iron. See the shine on this cast iron? That is a very well seasoned skillet. I used this on the wood burning stove. Should have wiped it out. Had it wiped out last week. But if you've ever had a wood burning stove, trust me, they're dusty. This, I bought a couple different shapes. Look at the difference. See the difference in, this is not seasoned. I haven't fooled with these yet. I've got a couple different shapes to make it a little interesting for Ethan, fry him a square egg. That kind of thing. If you're going to have little pots, make sure you have little, this is more for the wood burning stove. Well, I can't find it. See, I told y'all I was more organized More organized on the first video. Make sure you have little spatulas. This is for wood burning stove. This is not to use on a campfire. Okay, another good option for cookware on your campfire or wood burning stove is your basic granite ware. It is awesome. It doesn't burn up as quickly as regular aluminum will. In the granite ware line, I have a turkey roaster. You can use any kind of meat, stack up the vegetables. And I bought one of these little grates to put in the bottom because it's really hard to watch your temperature when you're on a wood burning stove or a campfire. So just to make sure I didn't burn anything, I bought one of these for my granite ware. Okay, in that line, I have the cake pan. Y'all saw it in the video I had to take down. If you have a Coleman oven, you can use this type of enameled cake pan to cook with. Also with that Coleman oven is the bread pan. If you really want your square loaves for a sandwich to feel normal, I will link Alaska Prepper's video where he demonstrates how well this bread pan works. Okay, moving right along. Back to the cast iron. This is your pot that sets directly on a grate or on hot coals. And for this purpose, I also bought a round little grate that'll fit, except for soups. For soups, you know, you just have to gauge your temperature. And in order to gauge your temperature, excuse me, well, I have it here somewhere. Did I carry it off? Here it is. Buy yourself a long sticked thermometer because you don't have the knobs on your stove eye or your oven to cook with. So make sure you have, and they make them even longer. Make sure you have a good thermometer so you know the temperature of your food. Now, this Dutch oven, you can just have this one. You just put more coals under it to make any type of cooked food if you don't want a separate one. But this one I'm only going to use for bread baking. There's a lip on the lid, and you put coals underneath and coals on top. And then it also has, I bought the round rack to put my parchment paper on, because the videos I've watched, most people tend to burn the bottom of their bread. But you have to check it out, look at it, see how many coals you need on the bottom, how many coals you need on the top. That's your oven for bread baking. Okay. With all this cast iron, you better have yourself a lifter. You need a lifter to pull your lid to check your food, to see if it's boiling, or, you know, to pull it off of the fire. With your cast iron, please, 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 please. You can have these mitts that slide directly over the handle of your cast iron, or like the big one that I just showed you. Now I do have some plastic. Let's see if they're packed. No, I've got the plastic. It's not plastic. You know what I'm talking about. A silicone. I've got a silicone handle that slides on the long handle, and then the little silicone that goes on the little handle. But make sure you have these. These are not expensive. I actually got these mitts at the dollar store. I ordered a set of these off of Amazon and a set of these off of Amazon. Oh, no, don't go there with Amazon. Unfortunately, they're all we have to get some of the things that we need, like in areas where I live. Okay, graniteware. Wood stove. If you do have a wood burning stove, you already know. For those that are just getting one, graniteware coffee pot. Now, I did not get the percolator with the little glass top because these things can break. How are we going to replace them? My purpose for having stainless steel is I don't want anything that breaks that we won't or may not be able to replace in a timely fashion. So you use this one without the percolator insides, and you put your water in it, your amount of coffee in it, you let it boil, then you set it to the side, let your grounds sink to the bottom. There are holes in the side of this to help strain, and you strain your coffee straight out with your grounds having settled on the bottom. It's called cowboy coffee. Okay. Before I forget, laundry. Those big tubs, washing. How you going to dry them in the winter? Listen, when I was a child, I went and got those frozen clothes off of clothesline from my grandmother, and they will cut you. They are very sharp. So for indoors, I just got one of these little racks, and it's got little knobs you loosen in the center. Now I do my clothes up here. I like to do my clothes up here. So you can, whoops, turning it the wrong way. You can set this up in a V shape and dry your clothes in the floor if it's only a few things. But you can use hangers and hang it up. I've got two nails hanging here. And I hang it up, and I use the hanger to, clothes hangers to dry my clothes on. And it's near the door. It gets the summer breeze. That's a little handy, nifty thing. I got this at the dollar store. It wasn't very much at all. Under $15, I can tell you that. Yes, you can use clothesline and you can string it from one end of your cabin or your house to another. Yes, you can. But if you have time to pamper yourself, why not? Okay, let's see. What's next? In the line of stainless steel. And yes, I have these covered till we're going to be using them. Little stainless steel bowls. These are double walled. So these won't burn. This if I put, and I use these now when we make soup or beef stew or any kind of, you know, hot food if we're not doing hamburgers or whatever. I use these double walled bowls, and it, no matter how hot the food is in it, it doesn't burn little fingers. Okay, we have that size bowl. We have this size bowl for smaller rationing if you need to. It's all a psychological deal. Okay? Or you can use it for your salad bowl when you grow your garden. Okay? You have two different size plates. If you have plenty of food, you want to use a big plate. If you don't have plenty of food, you want to use a smaller plate. The psychological part of you're getting a full plate. Okay? Stainless steel. They won't break. Yes, they're still wrapped because all of the dust. Okay? Stainless steel cups. Stainless steel mugs. Keep everything hot, keep everything cold. Stainless steel. I also buy anything, you know, this was my candle. Anything that comes even in aluminum, you know, you never, bacon grease, you know, wash this sucker out real good. Keep your bacon grease in it. Okay, what's next? Now, we have got that much taken care of. You've got your garden grown, okay? Anybody that has never grown lettuce, let me tell you, your lettuce has dirt and bugs and sometimes worms in your lettuce. So when you cut it, and it's one of those vegetables that keeps on giving because you cut your layer of lettuce off and it keeps growing. So until, you know, it starts to bolt if it gets too hot. And you can always reseed your lettuce. You have lettuce in a month, baby lettuce, but you have to wash it. You soak it in water, salt water, and that causes the dirt goes to the bottom and the bugs go to the top, or worms, whichever the case may be. So if you want to mimic having your fresh, pretty lettuce straight out of the store, get a salad spinner. It just pumps its hand, or it cranks, and it spins the basket and throws the water out into the bowl. So when you eat your lettuce, it's just like you bought it out of the store, only 10 times better. Okay, what's next? Chopping. Now, this is not nasty and dirty. Somebody cleaned it with a scrubber. This comes from Pampered Chef and chops like a charm. Let me tell you, these blades will tear your fingers up trying to wash this sucker. So, there is your chopper to chop your vegetables for your salad. Okay, food processor. It's got the blades in it. And like I said, if you have a knife, you can do these things. But you want to chop up your onions and peppers and those kinds of things faster. I got this at a secondhand store for a couple of bucks. Never discount your secondhand stores, or even, you know, any of those stores. But there's your little food processor, hand crank. Just to give y'all ideas. I'm just trying to give y'all ideas. Okay, as far as hand crank, I know this doesn't fit in the kitchen stuff. Make sure y'all have a hand crank radio. This one has a flashlight on it. And as I crank it, the flashlight will work. Now, this doesn't have a battery in it, and hasn't been out in the sun, hasn't been charged. This is just leftover charge. If I left it on, that light would go off in a minute. Make sure you have a NOAA radio. Okay? You can get these multi-purpose little sets for your knife, your fork, and your spoon for everybody. If you don't have a bug out location where you have a drawer that has all of your dinnerware in it. Okay. Next, can openers. Notice I had an S on the back of that. I've got this one, latches to the top of the can, and it doesn't leave a sharp edge. Along with the bread pan, I got this off of Alaska Prepper's channel. It is great. Let me tell you, this is a sturdy can opener. I have one here and one at home. They are great. And then, of course, you have your old-fashioned. This is my son's military issue can opener. And it also has the sharp point on it to, like tomato juice cans. If you're still using tomato juice and you haven't made your own tomato juice yet. Okay. Then there's this kind that's a bottle opener. And it also, I wanted it for this to open up cans with for the juice. This is a handy dandy little thing that helps chop your hamburger. I've got one at home that's Pampered Chef, and then I found this. I don't remember where I found it. It's not quite as sturdy, but this will chop your hamburger up great. Okay. You run out of pasta, but you've stocked tons of all-purpose flour. You do not want to have whatever fat you have put. It's just eggs, a fat, and flour to make pasta. So if you have one of these little gadgets and you don't have the heat, and you can use these at home now, you don't have the heat to melt if you're using lard, butter, you know, whatever. It needs to be a solid fat, though, for your pasta. Okay. Then you can't, oh, on that note, your stored flour will clump when you get ready to make your bread. Have a hand sifter for your flour. They're not expensive. Most of this stuff is real cheap stuff I'm showing you. Okay, in order to make your pasta, this is the most expensive part. These are range from $50 to $100 and some dollars. Get a little closer. A pasta maker. There is a learning curve. You may want to practice now, but if we're bugging in, we don't have anything else to do. And you can dry it and store it if you make too much. But homemade pasta cooks much faster, uses less heat, less water. There's your pasta maker. Okay, when you go to make your soups, a lot of people use immersion blenders for their broccoli cheese soup, cauliflower, and you can make it just broccoli soup without the cheese. We may not have cheese. But anything that you use for your blender at home or an immersion blender, and I'm not unboxing this because it's too dusty and I'm not using it right now. This is a hand crank blender. Like I said, these are extras to pamper yourself, to make life just a little easier. Can you use a big knife and a fork and go through and cut that cooked broccoli up or strain it out and mash it up? Absolutely. If you have hands and a knife, you can do anything. These are things to pamper yourself. Okay, all of the pots and things that I showed you for cooking on the wood stove or the campfire, your surface area of cooking is limited to the size of your pot. So in order, and it just takes longer to cook. It's going to cook, it's just going to take longer for the expediency of the thing. Now this is not seasoned. When you season a hand hammered metal wok, it's called bluing. There's all kinds of videos on how to blue your hand hammered metal wok. And I'm not going to unwrap it, but you can see the metal. But when you set it on the fire on the bottom, then you have to tilt it and get it all the way around to the edges. It turns real pretty blue, and then it starts to spread out and it turns black and it looks just like your cast iron. And then you put a little oil in it and you keep it seasoned just like you do your cast iron. Okay, yes, if you have a spoon and a fork, or a fork, you can mix up your eggs, you can mix up your brownie mix, you can mix up your cake mix, but why not make it a little easier? I got a hand crank, and see, they're wide. They're wider than a whisk. Now you can use your whisk to get any additional lumps out, but if you're gonna have enough people that you're gonna be scrambling 2 dozen eggs a day, this is just going to make life a little easier. You're pampering yourself. That's all I'm talking about here. After you have all your necessities, you're going to pamper yourself. I have many people, my grandmother had one of these and used it. I wish I had her original one. Let me see, because last time I had to do another little video because I left some things out. Okay, my Blue Eddy. I had to wait again today for the sun to get off the solar panels because my Blue Eddy was charging up. Praise God for that. But the one thing that I do use on a regular basis is a rice cooker. Now this is only a 6 cap, so it doesn't cook long and use a lot of wattage off of my Blue Eddy. But it also has the extra little insert to steam just for a couple of people. I do use this. This is one of the electrical appliances that I do waste wattage on my Blue Eddy to use, and it is awesome. This is what I use for rice. This is what I use to put the Nor rice sides and chicken in. I have made him macaroni in it for macaroni and tomatoes. If you're from the South, you know what macaroni and tomatoes are. So that I do use. That is electric. Y'all have, if you go back, I did a BLT video that I made a BLT sandwich on my wood burning stove, and I toasted my bread on my cast iron skillet. Works just fine. But if you want to pamper yourself, low wattage, you have a good generator, I do have a toaster. And yes, I have used it on occasion, but not often. I usually, the stove, it's wintertime, the stove's hot. I typically use this in the summer. Okay. Now, if you want a little more pampering and a little more normal, and you want to be able to flip a light switch or push a light switch, whichever kind you have, these are $3 a piece. And I don't want to blind y'all. And you have light. These are good for in your closets now. They're good for a million uses. But if you want to push a button and have light, yes, these take batteries. So you're going to have to save batteries. I'm not big on trying to save 10 years worth of batteries because you better be checking your batteries. They will lose their charge. Check your lighters. They will lose the fluid. I don't know why. It's supposed to be sealed, but you better check your batteries and your lighters before grid goes down. Okay, anything else? I don't want to do like I did last time and leave half of this stuff off. And I'm trying to go a little faster so you don't have as long a video to watch. I think that's it. Just make sure you have a lot of hand towels because we're not going to have paper towels. Oh, and over on this side is the little spatula for pizza. I bought that so everybody can see it when they go to the sink because I want to build a pizza oven. There's tons and tons of videos on building pizza ovens, but I'll tell you the best one I found, if this is something you'd like to do, even now in your backyard, when you determine the size of your dome, use dirt. Just pile damp dirt that will form. And then when your cement has set and cured, all you have to do is shovel out dirt instead of pieces of wood and that kind of thing. So that's a little tip for that. But I bought a laundry sink. You can see the corner of it here instead of a regular sink because it's deep for all these big pots. So I think that about does it, y'all. I love y'all. I hope I've given you some ideas. Like I said, after you have everything else taken care of. But that's all I have for you today on all of the little hand crank items. And you don't want to be breaking casserole dishes. And you don't want to be breaking bowls and plates and cups. Those kinds of things. Stick with, start your collection as fast as you can of stainless steel. You don't have to worry about replacing those things. They might bend, they might scratch, but they're not going to break and they're still usable. So until next time, we're going to work on I haven't decided if I'm going to do a video or a live, but we're going to talk about seeds next time. I love you all. Take care. Always remember 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If the grid does go down, we'll all be together in spirit because we're going to be praying for each other. So many blessings to all. Thank you for every second that you give me, and I love you bunches. Bye-bye.